Yo, it's your boy Vegabomber, and welcome to Vegabomber Land. Now, you know what I'm coming here to talk about. Civil War. Captain America, Civil War. The third film in the Captain America allotment. In fact, it's kind of interesting because Captain America movies are a phenomenon now. Because I would say the first movie, the first Avenger, so-so. Then you take the second movie, Winter Soldier, great. And now, the third one, phenomenal. Phenomenal, that's right, Civil War was phenomenal. It's the third film. And it's funny because Iron Man, by contrast, the first film was great. The second film was and the third film was. But in this case, Captain America seems to be going in the right direction. The more they make Captain America movies, the better they seem to get. Or maybe does it have something to do with the director, which would be the Russo brothers, which are basically showing us that they know how to do a superhero film, and they do. So let's get started. So this movie, Civil War, we know it's about the team is having to decide whether they want to go with what the government is trying to tell them. Thunderbolt Ross is telling them that they need to sign this sheet that says that they are now going to become under the control. They can't be a private entity anymore without any kind of accountability. And of course, some of the team says, yeah, I can see why we would need to do that, or we're no better than the bad guys. But then there's also the side of, hey, but we need our autonomy too, because what if you guys can't make the right call? So that's essentially the synopsis of the story. Iron Man's obviously on the side that says that he wants the accountability, that sure, after all the stuff that's happened and some things that have happened to him in the movie that he took to heart when someone came to him about some stuff, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed, by the way I'm talking, this is spoiler-free. Spoiler-free, but I'm going to do a full-on spoiler and discussion one after this, so hang tight for that as well. But for right now, let's just keep it spoiler-free, yo? We will. So basically, you can see the Iron Man set up on this side. Captain America's on the other side. He's on the side of having autonomy. Makes sense. Captain America about freedom, liberty. He wants that freedom, liberty. Iron Man, oddly, somebody who you would think would fight against it. But it makes sense, given the context in the film, why he decides to say, no, we do need some accountability. So let's talk about what's great about this film. Well, how much time do you have? The pros to this film? Tons. How about let's start with the performances of the actors. Yes, I'm saying that about a superhero film. Yes, this wasn't just punchy, kicky, fighty. This wasn't just jump cut, and titillation by explosion every 5 minutes. This film had solid acting, and the acting by everyone involved pretty much took it to the next level. So Sebastian Stan took Bucky up to another notch. I thought he played that character well in terms of Winter Soldier. Believe it or not, Paul Bettany as the Vision, we see some growth in him compared to what we saw in his birth movie, which was Age of Ultron. So I thought Paul Bettany played a great Vision who was starting to come within his own of what it means to be interacting with humans on a regular basis. So that was great. Scarlet Witch, again, same thing. She's still trying to decide, who is she? What's her identity since she's got all these powers, right? And then I would say, of course, Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, again, I can't say enough. But again, Mr. Boseman knocked his role out of the park, and there'll be more about that. And of course, Robert Downey Jr. he just took it to that next level with the superhero film. He showed an incredible range of not just sarcastic, smarmy jokes, but he was able to show calmness, jokes, and then able to show rage, it build, and then explode. And it was believable, because see, that's the thing about this. Is it believable? Yes, it is. And so then, of course, Chris Evans, you just can't see him as anybody else other than Captain America. He just is. And so you've got that going for it. Performances were out of this world. They were all-star performances by an A-list team. And again, this doesn't mean that the others weren't good as well, because they were. Tom Holland as Spider-Man, yes, he's in this film. You've seen the commercials. He does a great job as a Peter Parker, It was a good job. Awesome. People are going to love him, especially when he does his movies. They're going to love that as well. And then, of course, people love the jokes and the humor of Ant-Man as well. And, of course, Paul Rudd was being Paul Rudd, so you can't lose with that either. So completely the performances in this, excellent. Now, the fights. I love fight choreography. Someone who studied mixed martial arts myself, especially in Muay Thai, I love the fighting in this. The fighting, I loved how the camera was back and it wasn't shaky cam, and they let you see the moves. You could see the punch, the kicks, the blocks and everything without it being too much of a dance. I mean, there was some pretty solid fight scenes in this movie. Every now and again it'd get a little over the top, but hey. And the fight in the stairwell, to me, was just as good as Captain America fighting in an elevator. That fight in the stairwell, wonderful. But you got to see this movie to know what I'm talking about, because I'm not going to go further than that. Because remember what I said? Spoiler free, yeah? Spoiler free. So, I would say that the tone of this film was excellent. This film most of the Marvel films tend to be very, very light and jokey and all that sort of thing. But when you talk about Civil War, friend against friend, you have to get a little dark with that. And I'm glad that Marvel was willing to do that. And then, of course, put some humor back in so that you'd understand that it was a Marvel movie. They didn't go full DC on you. So don't get the idea that this movie is joyless like another film. No, this movie was not joyless. And by the way, the comparisons between this movie and this movie, it's just going to happen because they're superhero movies and they've got the essential same plot in the sense that you got people fighting against each other who really probably shouldn't be, but they are because they're superheroes, right? But at any rate, you just can't avoid that. That's going to happen. So I'll keep moving. The dramatic themes. This movie had drama in it, and we need good drama because drama builds tension and drama creates stakes. Too much drama then can be over the top and melodramatic, and nobody can get into that. But the drama here, mainly due to Robert Downey Jr.'s depiction of Tony Stark when he learns something, about someone, okay? Yeah, that was completely believable and the drama was there. And I will say this movie is easily one of the smartest, if not the smartest, superhero movie to date. It is. And on top of that, good performances and great action. And then, of course, it didn't lose its footing there. It still was funny. It still put its humor in there. So it hits on all of those. I mean, it's actually hard to find something wrong with this film. And in fact, let's go there next. What would I say the cons are? Okay, so I'm going to go in more depth with the spoiler discussion, but just here for the spoiler-free piece, I'll just say this. For 2 hours and 30-something minutes, while it was engaging and gripping, I think you could have shaved about 15 to 20 minutes off this movie. I really think so. So maybe the length it was maybe a tad bit long, or maybe, and that's not because it was boring. It was just because maybe a couple of scenes we kind of got, and they drug it out a little bit longer than they necessarily had to some degree. But again, this is just trying to find something. So I think you could have shaved 10 to 15 minutes off this movie pretty easily. So I'll say that's perhaps a con. Another one would be the villain's plan. So the villain's plan, while it was intricate, which was nice to see that there was a villain who was maniacal, because I think they worked best when they're maniacal and control and they're smart. But I think all the hoops that he's having you jump through just to get to this one end game could have been done in a couple of moves versus all the chess moves that he did just to get it to happen. So I would probably say that the plans of the villain, who, by the way, is Zemo, I guess that's my only spoiler, Baron Zemo's in this movie, but he's not a Baron. Zemo's plan is just probably a little overbaked, a little overcooked for my taste. But outside of that, gang, that's it. I mean, that's really it. So this movie delivers. So what's my rating system here in Vegabomber land, as you know, is just this. It's either a movie is blowing up, which is a good thing, like somebody's career when it's starting to get big and catch traction and blow up, or like a hot air balloon, right? Or the movie, if it sucks, needs to be detonated or blown up, right? So this movie is easily blowing up, and it should be, and it is, and it will be. In fact, this is a movie that you can justify seeing 3 times, 4 times, maybe even 5 times if you want. And you may not catch everything the first time you see it either, so that's another reason why you kind of have to go back. Not because of sequel baiting or anything like that, but because there's just some good intricacies in here, some layers that were being unpulled that you probably have to go back and see it again. Because if you're like me, you were just overloaded by just the spectacle of seeing some of your favorite heroes on the screen together again. And for me, definitely Black Panther. So yeah, go see this movie. Don't walk to the theater. Run right now. Just run like Quicksilver. Oh, I'm sorry. He's dead. The only person that has died in Marvel, I guess. So run like the Flash to the movie theater and go see this movie. And then take a couple of buddies and then go see it a couple of times. Trust me, if this isn't the best superhero movie, or the smartest superhero movie, or the most action-packed superhero movie, or the most dramatic superhero movie, I really don't know what that movie is. So anyway, it's your boy Vegabomber telling you can go spend your hard-earned money on this movie because it's definitely worth it. Anyway, it's your boy Vega, and I'm out. I love this. This is fun. Movies like this make it fun.